Today, we're talking about PS5 versus Xbox console sales numbers, a new mode for Dead by Daylight, plus more top headlines of the week. And if that isn't enough, we're revealing our top picks for video games we just can't quit. Welcome, friends, to this week's episode of Good Playing With You, the weekly gaming podcast. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by our good playing good buddies, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matt Maulding.
Hey now.
We've got a packed show, but before we dive in, let's check in with my army of Matts and find out what everyone's been playing this week. Lord?
Yeah, great week for games, I'll say. Man, just a lot has happened this week. It's been kind of wild. First things first, Fallout 3 on the Steam Deck. Still putting in time. Where am I at now? I am about to get to Vault 108 or something, where you go through the little like kid camp, and then you kind of get into still chasing my dad along. And then Maulding, you'll appreciate this, been playing some late night solo Overwatch 2. I have checked out the latest patch. I played a bunch last night, and I'm stuck in silver now.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's bad, Maulding. It's bad.
I don't even know what that means, but that sounds awful. Sorry, bro.
It just means I'm not going anywhere. Like, the teammates I get are truly brain dead. I hate to say it. And I'm just over there healing, and I'm like, I'm just wasting my time with this game at this point. And then I jumped back into Metal Gear Solid 3. Since I have some time in that, I just want to get through that. And then finally yesterday, big surprise drop. The PPSSPP, which is the PSP emulator, dropped on iOS. So I've been playing Manhunt 2 on my phone, and I gotta say, I cannot believe these things are coming to the iOS. Not only did that emulator, I hate saying it sounds so weird, PPSSPP, also RetroArch, which is another very big emulator, came to the iOS. So you can go to the App Store right now and download them, and you can just go to ROM heaven with that. It's crazy. Oh, Dan, have you played yet?
I have not, but I got your recommendation, and I'll definitely check it out. I'm still loving the Delta emulator.
That's still great. I actually go to that all the time, and I love the one thing. My one just quick critique with the PSP emulator is it forces you to go horizontal with the phone, so you can't go. That's what I really appreciate with the Delta is you can go vertical. It looks like it was made for the iPhone pretty much. So yeah, really enjoying it. It's a lot of emulation love going on right now. It's pretty awesome.
Nice. Maulding?
Yeah, I'm playing Manhunt on my phone as well, except it's called Grinder. Hey! So I, in preparation for the big update for Diablo 4, I was like, I want to play a game that I know I'm not going to get too addicted to, that I can just play for a few days. And I chose Sekiro Shadows Die Twice to try that again. This would be the fourth time I would try it. And I hate it. I hate it. It's a terrible,
sounds like me and
awful,
Monster Hunter.
It's a terrible, awful, no good, terrible, bad game.
What'd you get to Maulding?
I ended up getting further than I had been before, which was only like 8 hours into the game. But the first mini boss that they throw at you, you really have to hit him 50 times with your sword, basically, to kill him. He has to hit you 3 times. So that's the ratio. That's your
get good. Get good.
Yeah, I know. That's what everyone would say. You're just not good at the game, and that's correct. I wasn't good at the game, and it made it awful, terrible. I hate it. I'm never gonna play it again, ever. I hate it. So then, thankfully, the Diablo 4 update came, and I think I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, or do you want to talk about it now? What should we do? Let's talk about it now. I'll do a real quick thing. They basically changed the way loot works, and so it feels like a whole brand new game. So just in the little bit that I've played, you can completely adjust the loot to match your playstyle, the abilities you want to use. So if I'm playing a sorcerer who's using ice powers mostly, you can adjust the loot that you have to hopefully match how you want to play it. And it really has improved it considerably. And I put hundreds of hours into it before this update even came out before, and I'm now probably going to put a lot more into it. And I look forward to playing with you, Dan, or you, Matt, if you guys ever play it. I think Dan's planning on this weekend to play it.
I'm super pumped for this weekend. My question is, I mean, luckily I didn't jump in because you gave me fair warning. Hey, Dan, wait and hold off until this loot thing's happening. So I've been holding off this whole time, except for the beta where I went to level 20 and I got my dog, so he's waiting for me.
Yep.
My question is, though, what happened to all the loot that everyone got before this update? Is it worthless?
Yeah, so I think it's considered legacy loot. It gets a little mark on it, and I haven't gone back to look at my characters and look at the loot that I've saved, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to just dismantle it at the blacksmith and get the powers from them. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know. But all that loot is obsolete anyway, because the loot that's dropping is better than any loot that you would have had. Like, it is level dependent on where you are and what level you're at, but a level 20 piece of armor now is going to be much better than what a level 20 piece of armor was pre-patch. So
got it.
Dan, you've been patient as heck in
Yeah.
this game. I mean, you like really held off. One thing that always makes me pause for these types of games is, how big is this thing on the hard drive right now, Maulding? Is it like 150 gigs or?
Yeah, I can look right now. If you chat a little bit while I look here, I can tell
Speaking
you.
of updates, Xbox just rolled out a really cool feature while we're waiting for this. What they're doing now, and this is only in preview, it's just I read about it today, is that you can now download patches before they go live for a few days. So say you want, it's going to be a huge download, you want to play it, you don't want that patch to hit you on that Friday night right when you're trying to turn on your console. You can download it earlier in the week and it won't go live until it's been certified on that Friday. So it's like a pre-download for patches.
I like that, because it took like an hour for this patch to download, and I was ready to play it and I couldn't because I had to wait.
That's exactly what they're trying to fix.
It's 85 gigs right now on a console.
That's not too bad. Like, some things are
Baldur's Gate is 138 gigs. So,
yeah. I mean, in the Series S, like, storage is at a premium.
Right, yeah.
So I think I only have like 500 gigs to work with. So it's like, okay, if it's 150 gigs, I think, what was the 150 gig game that came out recently? I was like, oh, it was Starfield. Starfield was 150 gigs.
Yeah, it's 108
like,
right now.
Oh, Starfield?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that was exaggerated.
I mean, Jedi Survivor's 134. Yeah, I mean they're all big.
They're all big.
So it sucks if you don't have any extended memory.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but that's what I've and then I am excited to start playing the Starfield patch too. I'm gonna jump back into that. I think maybe this weekend.
Not me.
I know.
Keep
all
us
right,
posted
have fun. I mean, you're not going to invite me to play Diablo with you anyway, so.
Well, you're Mr. Like, I play hardcore. I can't be with you Eternal Realm like wimps that don't like permadeath.
That's wild, Maulding. I can't believe you do that.
Yeah, I love it. It's super fun.
I mean, the stakes are higher. Why not?
That's what it's for. Yeah.
Dan, what about you?
I've been playing the same old shit, so I don't want to bore anybody talking about the old games that I'm still playing.
Too late.
Do want to bore people with the new games that are coming out. So instead of telling you about the games I'm playing right now, I wanted to throw you a little curveball here and talk about games that are coming out and check your hype level with a little segment I like to call, and I just invented, I checked 2024. All right, so we're checking
That's good.
Yeah, we're checking in for Hype Check 2024. All right, so the first one, I want to know your interest level and tell me if you're excited, tell me you're not excited. I mean, we love video games, so hopefully you will like some of these titles that are coming up. And I want to know your interest on a level from 1 to 10. And then let me know if you kind of plan on buying it or anything like that. So first off, is the new Assassin's Creed. I put the trailer in the document, so both of you buttholes like should have watched it this week. Did you watch the trailer? Hype level for Hype Check 2024 on a scale of 1 to 10. Ready? Go.
7, 6, like maybe 6 or 7. It's fluctuating. I got to see some gameplay that looked.
That's what Maulding's gonna say. I need to see gameplay.
I mean, that was a lot of cinematics, but I could kind of see. I know that game was kind of like getting hit with some controversy too. I didn't know what the deal was, but after watching the trailer, I guess I kind of understand. Maybe. What does Maulding think?
Oh, so trailer itself, a trailer with no gameplay is as useful to me as an asshole right here. So it doesn't even matter to me if a trailer doesn't have gameplay. It's just I may as well watch a movie. So it can't tell me anything about the game.
Might as well be a mobile game.
Exactly. It may as well be an emulator for all I care about. But I really don't want to touch the controversy because controversy is ridiculous. It's racist for the most part.
Agreed.
In a game that's about people who are inhabiting the souls of people in the past, like now all of a sudden having someone who's black in Japan is just too much. That's too much. And so for me not wanting to touch it, that's me touching it. But hype level, it's more than Valhalla, less than the Olympus or whatever that one was, the Greek one. So I'll say 7.5, 8. Yeah, Odyssey. Okay. Yeah, 7.5, 8.
All right.
Yeah.
And is it a purchase or not purchase for you guys?
Not immediate.
Not immediate.
Yeah. Ubisoft games go on sale like a month, 2 months after they come out, so I'm gonna wait. I'll wait and buy it when it's on sale.
I totally agree with everything you guys said, and I'm totally gonna wait and buy it too. All right, the next game we need to talk about is coming out next week, actually. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is coming out on the 21st, which is Tuesday. What is your Hype Check 2024 level for this game? From 1 to 10, how interested are you? And which one of us schmoes is going to play it and then talk about it on next week's podcast? Ready? Go.
5.
Can I give 0? That is my hype level, 0.
All right.
I have 0 hype level.
Maulding's hitting us with a 0 right now.
Yeah. This game we did see, I think we saw some gameplay from it at the last direct that they had, and my god, it just looks so boring. So, like, I think the game is a story-driven narrative game, but whatever that story looks like doesn't seem interesting to me. So,
I can already tell, there's too much riding on this game to be successful that it's bound to fail, unfortunately. Just Xbox is like almost hanging in the balance to make this game a success, and we haven't seen anything from the game that looks like we don't know anything about the game. So I'm nervous. 5.
Here's my caveat is friend of the pod, Brendan, loved the first one, and he's very excited for this one. I never played the first one, so that is why.
I played the first one, and it wasn't good. I bought it, and I wasted my money on it, and it was not good.
Okay.
So who wants to be the sucker on the pod to play it and talk about it next week? Someone needs someone to volunteer.
It's going to be Game Pass, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll take that.
Take it for the team.
Yeah, I'll do it. No problem. And I'll try to maybe even try a little bit of the first one too. I think I have it actually downloaded, so I'll be able to kind of like do both at the same time.
Nice.
Awesome. Love to hear it. All right, moving on. I've got a couple more games here that I want to get your hype level on. The next one is EA had a financial call, and they revealed that the very next Dragon Age Dreadwolf would be coming out, quote unquote, this financial year, which means by March 2025, because companies really are crazy with the calendar. So what is your hype level on a scale of 1 to 10 for Dragon Age Dreadwolf?
That's awesome.
And will you buy
Let's go 8.5. Because it's only not like a 9 or a 10 because Dragon's Dogma has me nervous. It got me nervous.
Yeah.
Well, like my Grindr profile says, I'm only looking at 10s. Yeah, so I'm a 10. 10 is what I'm going for. I'm super hyped for this game. Loved the last one. I maxed out, I think, all the achievements on it. Played it at least twice. Highest difficulty. Loved it. Super excited for this. So.
And
so
you guys Dragon's Dogma isn't making you nervous, and
no, because they're different game. They're different games.
Yeah, I think the formula is a little bit different, so that's why I'm agreed. I haven't even seen like really much except for the little teaser, but I'm already in day one, hook, line, and sinker. I absolutely adored the last one, so I'm going to buy this going day one. Are you guys day one on this one as well?
I could be day one. I could definitely.
I think I'm day one.
Okay, nice. All right, so continuing on, the next one I wanted to talk to you about is Resident Evil 9, another one we've seen absolutely nothing about. But according to the latest leaks that are being reported by Kotaku, the next entry in Capcom's horror franchise may be less than a year away, and they expect to see it at the games conferences this summer. What is your history with, I know this one's so speculative, but what is your history with the series? Are you a fan? Are you not? Are you in day one? Do you need to see more? Hype level 1 to 10, ready, go.
I'm a 9. Solid 9. I've loved all the first person reiterations. I loved 7 up and through 8. I mean, and I loved all the remakes, so I'm ready to go. Do you think it's going to be more first person, or do you think
I think they love to double dip now, so it'll be both.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. And yeah, I'm hype. Maulding, what do you think?
I have not played a Resident Evil game since the one where they're in Africa. Does that sound familiar? Is that one?
That's 5. That was 5.
The co-op. So that was the last one I played. I think I played co-op with you, Dan, back when you invited me to play games with you. And hype level 4, 3. Yeah, these games stress me out too much. Like that resource management and that scare it makes me too sweaty. So
understandable.
Sorry to hear it, but I'm definitely a 10. I'm in day one. I haven't seen or heard anything about this other than the proposed release date. I'm just so addicted to the formula that they've created. It's like the first time through is the haunted house, and the next time through is just you're having fun because you know what to expect and you've got the upgrades, and then you start grinding for those achievements, and you do runs that you don't use health, and you do runs that you only use a knife, and they make you do crazy shit because you're addicted to the game at this point, and it just the replay value just you get out of these things, and the formula is just chef's kiss. Now I am getting a little bit concerned that they have been releasing these things consecutively back to back to back. I think we've gotten them every 2 years for the last 4 installments or so. So it's like whoa, calm down, a little clean.
It might be a little much.
Yeah, that's a little bit more of a commitment than I'm ready for between us. But I'm still in, so I think that's great. And the last game I wanted to check in with you guys while we're playing Hype Check 2024. Okay, I promise that's the last time I'll do it. But this one's the easiest one of all. I just want to hear your thoughts on the announcement today that Grand Theft Auto will be coming by the end of 2025. That came from Take-Two's publishers' call today, where investors were finding out about what they have lined up, and they said they expect to be publishing the most anticipated game of all times by the end of next year. What do you guys think? 1 to 10, of course. Day one, I'm not going to what do you think?
How can I not say 10? It's pretty cool. Why was I under the impression this was coming out in 2026 and all of a sudden they're saying 2025?
Well, because to be quite candid with you, I think investors like to talk to other investors, get them invested in the company and stock and stuff. So they promise it earlier. And then gamers get excited because they truly believe that thing, but really they just want their money. And so it's probably coming out in 2026 and they're totally lying about 2025. But hey, I want to get excited about GTA 5 or 6 because I love the series. So that's why I had to bring it up here, even though it's totally speculative. Maulding, you didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Hype level is 10, which is the number of sex workers I'm going to sleep with as soon as I start playing the game. I'm super pumped for it. Day one, I'll probably pre-order this game, and I don't pre-order games.
I'm going to pre all over the place with this one for sure.
Dan's preeing over there.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the question is, now this is my big thing, because I think this was pretty funny that Ubisoft came out and said, don't worry, the new Assassin's Creed, this is what I saw, they're like, don't worry, this game is not going to be online required at all times. And I feel like that was actually a win in the new Assassin's Creed bucket. Do you think this game could potentially be online all the time?
Wait,
yes.
You said the Assassin's Creed doesn't have to be online to play, is what you said?
It doesn't have to be. Yeah,
it came out to have the online connection just to be installed.
It does. Yes. They said that. They said it needs to have the online connection to be installed, but then you can go offline. I mean, I know that's still kind of like a deal breaker for some people, but some games have to be online permanently.
Yeah.
Which is like that's bad. Do you think that's going to happen for here? I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some sort of controversy before GTA 6 drops.
It's going to be online only all the time. For one thing, they're going to want you to be keyed in to those purchases that they want you to make constantly. They don't want any chance that you are not going to have access to buying something. And then I'm sure that it's probably so big that they probably need to pull assets from online constantly for it. That would be my assumption.
That's some good assumptions, because you're right. When these games come out, they always break the rules. They do things that no games have ever done before. So I would definitely think that you're probably right when it comes to that. They also announced that they have just sold 200 million copies of GTA 5. So my guess here is
that's insane.
What the strategy is. Yes, it's going to be always online. No, I don't think the audience is going to give much of a shit because they don't have a choice. And then what they're really going to do is they're going to finish up development on this game at the end of 2025. They're going to really release it in 2026. And then the second that happens, they're going to start working on it for next gen consoles, because what they want to do is sell 200 more million of this game. And in order to do that, they need to continue the development of this thing on these next gen consoles that we haven't even started thinking about.
They need chuds like me who bought it twice.
Yeah,
I bought it twice.
I bought it three times.
Oh my god.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because the 360, and then I had to get it on the Xbox One, and then I had to get it on this one when it went on sale, the Xbox Series X. So.
I guess maybe I bought it 3 times too. Oh my god.
See, you bought it 3 times. You didn't even know.
And I didn't even know. I couldn't even register.
200 million squad.
This guy.
Yeah. All right, we got to move on. But before we get to the headlines, I know, unfortunately, Maulding, you were out last week, but you wanted to insert your opinion about something.
So first, I wanted to thank Noel and Eric for taking my place. That was very kind of them. Watching the pod and not being a part of it made me extremely jealous. So I had many feelings about not being in it, and I want to give my opinion. I have an analogy for what's happening with Xbox, and here's the analogy that I wasn't able to do last week. So Xbox is Frodo in the Shire in Lord of the Rings, just bumping along, enjoying his time. That was what they were. And then all of a sudden the ring came, and the ring was Activision Blizzard. And Frodo finds this ring, or not finds it, is given to him. And now Xbox has the ring. And then all of a sudden, Microsoft, boom, the Eye of Sauron is now just now you have the ring, focuses on you. You've got to prove, you've got to go save, you've got to do all this stuff. and it was just Frodo slash Xbox was just having the time of his life before that purchase, and that purchase turned everything on its head. So we, the gamers, we're the Fellowship of the Ring. We just want everyone to survive and make it through to the end. And Gandalf is there being like, "Fly, you fools! Like, get out of there! We gotta save things." And so that's my analogy for what's going on with Xbox.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Oh wow, that
Well.
Maulding, excellent analogy. I love a good Lord of the Rings. Anything that could bring up Lord of the Rings, I'm there for it. So
Okay,
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for that. And unfortunately for Xbox, the trouble is not quite over. So let's quickly get to the headlines of the week. The first one we have here is from, let's see, Forbes, where they say, let me pull it up here 1 second.
Oh my gosh. Dead air. We can't have dead air. Do a dirty joke. Say a dirty joke.
Analysts assume PS5 outsold Xbox almost 5-1 this past quarter. While the larger generational trend seems to estimate that PlayStation 5 is outselling Xbox Series X 2-1, similar to the last generation, that gap may appear to be widening in a big way as of late. This week, Sony and Microsoft both reported earnings, and with that, gaming division information. Microsoft only posted financials, not exact sales figures of the console, with a 31% hardware sales drop, while Sony had a 29% drop as well. They reported 4.5 million consoles shipped. Now, using available data and their own calculations, analysts are saying that this past quarter they believe PS5 outshipped Xbox Series X S close to 5-1. That would put Xbox shipments around 800 to 900,000 for the quarter, which is pretty bad numbers. So hearing those numbers from analysts and estimates, what are you guys thinking? What is your reaction? Are you surprised? And where does it go from here?
We're talking gaping numbers here.
Yeah, that's a pretty large gape there.
That's a big
gape. Huge
That's a
gape.
huge gape. If you want my initial reaction, 5-1. Can people
That's
get their
crazy.
hands on PlayStation 5s that easily now? Is one thing, and then I thought, what happened? I thought this Series S was selling really well. Is that just one big hallucination, the one big fever dream I cooked up? Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So
I've got my thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
So I said it in a previous podcast. It's inertia. It's because because PlayStation won the last console war. That's why they've won this one. It's the reason I wear Speed Stick deodorant is because I wore Speed Stick deodorant when I was when I first started, and so that's what I do. That's what I buy. So these people who bought PlayStations in the previous generations will continue to buy PlayStations throughout the rest of the
Maulding.
time.
I appreciate you saying that, because that actually brings up something that I keep hearing about. And Phil Spencer actually said this. He said they lost the console war when it was the Xbox One days and versus PS4, and you're building up your digital library, and people built they weren't buying it on the Xbox One, and they bought all their games on the PS4. And so now all these Sony fanboys have humongous libraries on their systems, and they're taking it to the PS5, they're jumping from PS4 to PS5 right now. And that's just, I feel like that trend's going to continue to happen.
It absolutely will. I don't think Xbox has a chance ever to make it back up.
I agree, but I don't think it's because of the past. I think it's because of right now. It's these constant, headlines that we've been talking about since we started our podcast of like, Xbox is a dumpster fire and here's why. I think the reason why Sony is beating Microsoft 5-1 in the last quarter's console sales is really up to Xbox themselves. When you have Phil Spencer going on podcasts saying big games don't move consoles, when you hear Matt Booty saying that they want smaller prestige titles, and then they're closing studios like Tango, who not only gave them Hi-Fi Rush, but was their only Japanese studio in a market they really need to crack. And then you see Kotaku publishing rumors just today that CEO Satya Nadella is trying to give more exclusives to PlayStation and make more money. It's like either these people don't get it, what's going to drive console sales, or they're clearly trying everything they can to destroy the console business. They just want money now, and they don't care about the damage that they're doing to the future. And then you have President Sarah Bond saying what gamers want to hear when she says the next console is going to be the most powerful. And it's confusing. It's like these executives, the management team is just talking out of both sides of their mouths, or maybe just talking out of their ass. But the bottom line is, I think if Microsoft isn't going to invest in their console, neither are gamers. They're just going to go where the games are going. And that's, unfortunately for them, now PlayStation.
Totally. And PC.
And
PC, man.
Well, PC's
Thriving right now.
It's gonna win in the end, especially if PlayStation keeps putting their content on there.
Exactly. And the way PlayStation is acting. Okay. Imagine if Sony was performing at 100% right now too. It would be crazy. The gap would be insane. It would be humongous.
Yeah, this is their numbers without having any games that are out. So it's got to be a little bit of all of our points, right? It's the combination of all those things together is what's making it.
Yeah, but what's wild is that Sony's management is not stepping on as many rakes as Microsoft's. Microsoft is pissing people off with the things they're saying and the things that they're doing, and Sony's just being Sony's like, oh yeah, we just had like a 29% sales drop. We're gonna miss estimates. PS5's not gonna outsell PS4, and hey, look at Xbox, and then everyone's like, shit, fuck Xbox, I want to kill them.
I heard
they're like rabid squirrels.
Speaking of just managements, I heard Sony or PlayStation is now going to have 2 CEOs.
Yes.
Did you hear that? Yeah,
there was an article about that one as well.
Interesting.
It came from GameSpot, and actually, I'm glad you mentioned this because I was going to talk about this one as well.
Yeah.
It says the PS5 might be outselling its chief competitor, but its overall sales have slowed in recent months. And they talk about how the numbers were released and announced. And then they go on to say Sony recently, and this is coming from GameSpot, by the way, Sony recently named 2 PlayStation CEOs in the wake of Jim Ryan's departure, Hideki Nishino and Herman Holst. Sorry if I've slaughtered either one of your names. They will serve as joint CEOs. Nishino heading up Sony's interactive entertainment platform business group, and Holst leading the studio business group. The former is responsible for technology products and platform experience, and then Holst is responsible for all PlayStation game content, film/TV adaptations. So they're splitting it up between both of them, which is interesting.
Very interesting. I wonder if we'll see some conflicts down the line between the two, because now you have to deal with not 2 CEOs, which could get either messy or maybe it'll work out in their favor. I don't know. It seems like it could get a little bit like too many cooks in the kitchen, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much of an opinion on it other than I just want good games. That's all. So whatever these people can do to give good games and good, one of the people is in charge of the entertainment, like TV and film, like keep those adaptations being good, faithful adaptations that they bring to TV and movies. Then that's the ticket.
I agree. All right, so let's not belabor the consoles anymore, and let's talk some other crap like Marvel, who did some stuff that's not too friendly. Maulding?
So it's not Marvel who did it. It was NetEase. So basically, Marvel. Oh God, I'm blanking on what the thing's called now. The game Marvel Rivals.
Rivals.
What is Marvel Rivals? Is that like a mobile game or something? Or is it...
No, so it is a PC game right now, and it is basically it's Overwatch. It's Overwatch, but with the Marvel property. So I saw a lot of gameplay because the alpha went out this week or this weekend, and the gameplay looks fantastic. It looks like it's so much fun, and I'm so jealous for all the PC players that are gonna get to play this right away when
They're
it
just
comes
beta
out.
testing for us console players. Don't worry, it'll come to us
I
with less
really,
bugs.
really hope. I really, really hope that's the case. But the controversy was that the NetEase, when they sent out these alpha codes to reviewers, there was a clause in there that was a non-disparagement clause that said,
Ooh.
like, yeah, you get this, but you cannot talk shit about this game at all. Like the exact words were not. Let me just get it right here. The content creator agrees that there are no statements that any statements are engaging in the discussions would not be detrimental to the game, which includes making disparaging or satirical comments about the game features, characters, or music, or engaging in malicious comparisons with competitors, which is going to be Overwatch. And so a Twitter user, A Siegel. Is that Siegel? Is that Siegel from
I think
Overwatch?
it is.
It might be. He's the one that pointed it out. And so our NetEase came out last week with a huge apology. Or was this week? I'm sorry, with a huge apology for it, saying like we're gonna remedy this. This was just an oversight, which I think it's just it's always an oversight when you get caught. Like that's what it is. But obviously, having a non-disparagement clause in any sort of review is just a no-go, and they got caught
For sure.
So I thought that was a pretty. Anyway, I'm super pumped for this game. It looks so much fun, right up my alley. Overwatch, Marvel properties. I want to play as Scarlet Witch. I want to play as Storm. I want to play as Cyclops. I want to play as Wolverine. Like super fun.
Well, first thing, NetEase. That sounds like something that would be loaded into your like 1998 computer.
No, I thought they're a really big company. Like,
are they?
I'm pretty sure they're pretty big players. They're one of the biggest.
They're a big Chinese company.
Yeah,
I think.
Okay.
I think they're Chinese.
Say the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's how
they're like
I've heard of them before.
Tencent and.
But then, Maulding. I'm a little surprised to hear you say this about the game because I saw a lot of streaming, and I was just like, dude, let's just play Overwatch. Why would we play this?
No, the history behind these behind these characters is like I've been a huge X-Men fan since I was a little kid. Like to be able to embody these characters is just such a. I'm super pumped for that, and that's the difference between that and Overwatch. Whereas like it's fun to play as Symmetra, I love that, but Doctor Strange can create this huge gigantic portal, and I'm playing as Doctor Strange. Like that is what really does it for me.
Okay, no, I personally am not like the most humongous like Marvel fan, so when I saw it, I was just kind of like, "All right, I'm over here playing Overwatch, stuck in Elo hell. Don't mind me."
Well, speaking of PC games, Lord, I know you had a story about both Red Dead Redemption and Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes. Well, good news. It looks like Red Dead Redemption is finally coming to PC. It's kind of with a question mark, but it seems like it's pretty much set in stone. A data miner went in, dug around, found some code. Let me open up this link from, let's see where this is from, Insider Gamer. It said something like very specific, where it just is like, okay, this is coming exactly. Yeah, it says like from the data, it's like journey across the sprawling expanses of the American West and Mexico and Red Dead Redemption and its zombie horror companion, Undead Nightmare, now available on PC. It's like,
wait, this is just the first one? Not two.
It's the first one. No, first one with
well, it's still great.
With Undead. Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, this is great timing because Dan, you're gonna build a PC for this one, I'm guessing. Yes.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I think it's really cool. Finally, I mean, when did, off the top of your head, do you know when Red Dead came out? That's crazy. So it only took like 14 years to port this thing to PC.
Yeah.
How much do you think it's going to cost?
Oh, they're gonna go full price for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think they'll do 60. They won't do 70. They'll do 60.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it will come with the Undead Nightmare.
That is cool. That's sweet. So that was one little interesting tidbit. I thought that was kind of cool. Data miners,
And
are
then
like
Ghost
out
of
there.
Tsushima, you had a tidbit as well.
Yes,
which is not as cool.
Yeah, this is not quite as cool. It's delisted from the regions, like same as Helldivers 2.
Because it's going to require the PSN account. Is that correct?
It's going to require the PSN account. And I wrote my little notes like, Sony is really out here turning themselves into the villain for this. And man, I don't think it's in Sony's best interest to get on the bad side of these PC gamers who are expecting these games to come to the PC, and then it's failing. And it seems like what happened with Helldivers with the review bombing could easily happen with this game as well.
But I don't know if the community is as big, so I think they're going to have to just take it right in the keister.
I know
these corporations. It's like politics. When your competitor is messing up everything, like Xbox and Microsoft has been doing, all you have to do to continue to win is not mess up. That's all you have to do. Just don't make any sudden moves, sudden things that can jeopardize anything, and you win with flying colors. You sail on by, but they just continue to mess up both of these. It's crazy.
It is
wild. I don't think I was gonna really. I mean, I already have Ghosts on the PS5, so I don't think I'm in a huge rush to get it on PC. But this is one of those things that just is like, come on. I think exactly what you're saying, Maulding. Like, you just have to not mess it up. You don't need to force this. Like, just change your policy and you're good to go. And it sounds like this one, they're full steam ahead. There's no changing course now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Boo.
Totally. All right, moving on though, I wanted to real quickly touch on the Dead by Daylight 8th anniversary live stream that happened yesterday. Did either one of you hear about this?
Only from you.
No.
Well, I don't know if you guys played DBD at all. I've kind of fallen off of it, but I thought this was kind of interesting. Behavior had a live stream where they talked about everything that they're up to for DBD, and they've got like an interactive game that's coming out. Then they had one small game that they released on Steam, which was like a shooter thing, a co-op thing, which is not what the fog, whatever. It's not wasn't like a big deal. But the one thing that I thought stood out of this live stream was the 2v8 co-op mode. So this was interesting. It's now going to double the amount of killers and survivors in a match. And it says in an article by GameSpot that the stream confirmed the addition of a 2v8 multiplayer, a mode which doubles both killers and survivors. The increase in players will also come with a few gameplay changes, which includes a change to the perk system and the killers using cages instead of hooks to contain their prey. So they also released, when they had this live stream, a roadmap which showed the updates that they have coming out, and it looked like this mode would be coming out in July. Now, I know that we've all played DBD in the past and kind of burned out on it, but is this enough to pique your interest and make you want to come back?
Yes.
Maulding, take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll totally come back and try this. I love being a killer, and so having a chance to kill alongside someone else might be a lot of fun. I'm super pumped for that. Also, the in the beta or in the test realm right now is the Dungeons and Dragons
Vecna.
Yeah, Vecna. So I saw Spooky Loops do some play of that earlier today, and
I watched it too.
Fun. Yeah, it looks super fun to play that. So yeah, they're doing some things that'll completely pull me back to the game.
Are they updating the player of all? They're making it a bigger, like, players on the map because they're feeling pressure from the Killer Clowns game, do you think?
I don't know if it's pressure from that. I think they just
Maybe they've
realize
just
that they need
seen
to.
their
Yeah, they need to freshen up their game a little bit. My complaint
Yeah.
about that game has always been that it's going to collapse one day under the weight of its own, build, because you've got so many killers coming in. Even like myself, who's going to be a returning player for this 2v8 mode, there's the Singularity and there's Vecna and then there's this Knight. There's so many killers that I don't even know that I'm going to have to brush up on, and it's so much work, and then you have to learn the palettes and how to loop, and it's like, it's a lot of work. So we'll see what they do with this game. I wish they would just kind of start working on their next gen versions and get a game that actually looked good.
That would be the play. I think it was fun playing with you the few times we got together and played it. I thought it was awesome. The reason why I said that about the Killer Clowns is I'm just surprised they haven't already done this like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
It just seems like a no-brainer to me.
Wait, so you two have played DBD together? Funny, I didn't get invited to that party.
This was like,
all right, moving on. Yeah. Moving on, everyone. All right,
we're out of time.
We do have to jump into the. We got a couple of viewer listener emails to go over. So, any stories you guys want to real quickly touch on, because I know we're skipping a lot of the ones that are in there.
No, we're good. We can save it.
You're good as well.
Yeah,
Lord?
I'm good.
Okay, then let's get to listener emails. Lord, you had the first one from Young Colonel.
Oh yeah, we got Young Colonel from Thousand Oaks. He writes, with so much bad news plaguing the industry, are we witnessing the collapse of video games? I guess it would be like modern video games. Who wants to go first? Do you want me to just go my initial reaction to hearing that?
Sure.
Well, it's I feel like it's kind of like a yes in my book. Like, it just seems like right now there is bad news coming from all sides. You got Xbox imploding, you got Sony just resting on their laurels, doing weird stuff with PlayStation, PSN. But then you have these indie games that are coming out, like Crow Country, which I can talk about for a second, maybe later, or and then you have Animal Well, who was like published by, if you heard of Donkey, the
Animal Well's killing it right now.
Yeah. So, as much as I like, it's crazy. I feel like we are really leaning towards like it's going to become a very indie heavy industry for a while. Like, we might not have the same AAA releases like we used to, or they're going to be fewer and far between. So it makes me a little sad to think about, but that is, so maybe not a full collapse, but we're going to start seeing the AAA spans widen and more indie games fill in the gaps.
Maulding?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what's happening with the film industry right now, is that to have a game be successful, they're pumping so much money into these AAA games that to have a game be successful, you have to sell, like, it has to be the top selling game for months and months and months and months and months for them to recoup all the money. And that's the same thing that's happening with the film industry right now, is they put so much money into these titles like Madam Web and like all these things, and they have to make so much money to get their return on investment. And that is just not a sustainable business model, especially if they're to save themselves. It's going to be like, is it going to be an $80 game now? Is it going to be a $90 game? Like, is that how they're going to have to price these things to stay creating these AAA games? So I do think it is destined to collapse. And I also think that Xbox, as much as they say we have a super powerful console coming out, if they do end up putting one more console out, it's going to be their last one. And so that just leaves PlayStation and PC and Nintendo. Nintendo is its own. They're in its own world. Nintendo is going to be just fine. They're
Just
they're
to
going
be
to have
clear,
no problem
Microsoft
whatsoever.
would then become only a software company. I still
Yes,
think they'd be a player
exactly.
just from a software perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
no longer putting out consoles. So then you just have PlayStation, PC, and Nintendo, with PlayStation having no competitors, no real competitor in Xbox anymore. Like, then they're just gonna go crazy. I think prices are gonna go up. Yeah. So I think there's gonna be a sea change that's gonna happen in the next like 5 to 10 years.
You know, I got to agree with most of what you guys are saying. I think we will see with this quote unquote collapse of the AAA game. You know, I think we're going to start to see more people embracing these different price points with these smaller games, and that was something that was really welcome with Helldivers and Pal World and things that were very, very successful. Because then you turn around and you see these Ubisoft games, which are usually huge and bloated, and they're charging now 120 or something like that for these Ultimate Editions that nobody really wants to pay. These games, especially in the Ubisoft case, have gotten too big, if you ask me, and too bloated, and they do need to be dialed back. Now, I will say there is one thing that could negate everything that we just said, and that, Maulding, as you know really well, is using AI as a tool to help you build these things. Because you and I have been taking courses on ChatGPT. We love the 4.0. We're super nerds. But using AI, not to create something, but using it as a tool to help you build faster and more efficiently, that's really what's going to happen. Like, people are all afraid, like, AI is going to take over, blah, blah, blah. No, it's going to be people using AI as a tool that's going to make us build more, better, faster. And I think that it will make things more efficient. So I don't think we've seen the end of AAA games. And unfortunately, I don't think that we've seen the end of the $120 price tag. But I do think that these companies are going to have to embrace these more modern tools if they want to continue to build the things that we're used to.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with the AI thing. It's just like when we were kids, and it's like, you're not going to have a calculator to do math wherever you go, so you got to learn how to do this longhand. And then, of course, that is not the case, and that's what AI is. Like, right now, it's like you're not going to be able to do this without you're going to need these tools. So you better learn how to do it without them. And now that AI is going to be there, AI is gonna handle a lot of
you get stumped on that Python code, and you just toss it in there, and boom,
exactly.
You know?
It's going to handle a lot of that busy work, I think. That and then that's going to breed a lot of creativity for the people who now have that space available in their inventory, in their, you know, whatever they use to think. It's going to help them out.
Right on. I agree.
Bandwidth. That's the word I was looking for. Bandwidth.
Okay, that's a great question. And then moving on, we have one other question here too. It says, this week, Jackson from Mid-City, Los Angeles writes in to goodplayingwithyou@gmail.com, just like you can, and asks, what are some games that you can't live, that aren't live service, that you go back to over and over? Which I thought was a pretty good question. So when you think of games people play continuously, you normally think of live service games like Fortnite, Apex, Overwatch, or something like that. But sometimes there are special offline games that we keep thinking about. And even though we've beaten them, we still dip in from time to time. So what do you guys think? What are your two picks for games that are not a live service that you just can't quit? Let's start with you, Lord.
My first pick has to be Half-Life 2. I love that game. I think it came out in 2004. It just, in my opinion, it was the turning point of like modern games, what games could do, what first person games can do, like storytelling wise. It has everything. It has like adventure moments. It has these horror moments that are truly chilling. It has these vehicle fights. Oh, it was just a true masterpiece, and I always find myself firing that up. Now that I got my PC going, I'm just like, I'll be on there. I'll mess around. I'll get the gravity gun out, throw some barrels around. Oh, it's just an awesome game. The beginning of that game is, I think that's like one of the best parts. So you can just fire it up and play the beginning over again, and it's just like, man, it's so satisfying. What a great game.
That's a great choice. Maulding?
You can't ask this question without giving Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise its due, because those games you can play over and over and over again. I could jump in, just you asking the question, maybe like, oh yeah, I should go back and play that right now, because you can use a different weapon, you can specialize in a different weapon each time. There's like 12 of them, so like I'm gonna do a run with the now of course I'm blanking on what all of them are, with the insect glaive, or with the hunting horn. I'm gonna do this run with a hunting horn
The
only,
hunting
and it's
horn.
just the like, oh stop, the just the replay value and the loop to those games is delicious, and I want to stop talking about it right now and play it.
Right on. I wish I could share the same sentiment, but I do not.
It's just because you have bad taste. That's fine.
All right, Mr. Sekiro. Anyway, I just have to say, my first pick when I saw this question that came in my mind was, it reminded me of a game that I bought at the very beginning of the pandemic, and that was the Ring Fit Adventure. And I thought for sure this is going to be a gimmick. It's got this stupid little plastic ring. I'm probably going to snap it. It's going to, like the Wii balance board, it's going to be BS. But we're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm going to treat myself. I'm just going to buy this game, and it's going to be, help me work out at home. And then flash forward like 4 years later, and I'm still doing it once a week. That game is huge. It's a great adventure. It's got so many different worlds. It's like an RPG with level ups and potions and armor and all of this sort of stuff. And the whole time you're working out, you're getting your crunches and your cardio and all that sort of stuff, and it's counting everything you're doing. And so I don't know if anyone was interested in that one and slept on it, but I highly, highly recommend picking that one up and putting it in your workout routine, because it's truly a good time.
That's good to know. Yeah. I saw it. It looked cool. So yeah, I'll have to take a peek at some. I'll have to come over and we'll have to do like a workout with it.
And it has some fun mini games and stuff that you can like do. I'll show you.
Sweet.
But what's your next pick?
Next one, it's got to be Death Stranding. Since that game came out, I've just replayed that game a few times. Just the sound effects alone in that game are worth hearing again. They are so good. And the way just like even menuing in that game, where you're like short presses, long presses, rearranging the long press. Oh, it's so well done. And then you're just like Norman Reedus cruising around through this. It's so funny because I think I mentioned this on the last, but it is like a truly barren world. There's like nothing to really find, but it is
to play a game in a barren world. That sounds like a blast.
And yet I still want to go out and walk around and look at stuff. It doesn't make any sense. It like when I say it, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But man, I can return to that game. And yeah, I heckle myself about that game because I'm just like, I think there's something. I have a screw loose, but it is so fantastic. I highly recommend anyone. Just if you're Death Stranding curious, I say give it a shot.
I was Death Stranding curious in college. So my second one is Hitman 3, and the Hitman franchise is fantastic. I love them. But they really hit their stride with Hitman 3. It's like there's like 14 different levels. Each time you play, you have multiple ways to get your kill. The amount of detail in these games, the amount of replayability, the way that they set up these helpful hints that you can take, like a path that'll kind of guide you on how to do a certain kill on a certain level with a certain weapon. It's a beautiful, beautiful, fun, engaging, simulating kill game. I love a good simulated kill. I don't know. Do either of you play these games? It's so fun. It was on Game Pass for a while and they took it off. So if you didn't get a chance, it's a bummer. But oh my god, they're so good.
Oh yeah, I played the originals. I haven't played enough 3, but man, I played 1, 2, Blood Money, Contracts, all those bangers. Fantastic franchise.
Yeah. All right, well, my last choice is Turmoil. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this one, but I'm when it first came out, I got super addicted, and then I've jumped back in several times over the years. It's originally a PC game, and then they also ported it to the Nintendo Switch, and it's also in the iOS store if you have an iPhone. So I highly recommend it. But essentially, it is an oil drilling game, and they give you like a low amount of money, and then the challenge is you have to go and like bid on these plots of land, and then you're this little guy, and then you drill this oil down, and you try and find all the different oil plots, and you put the pipes everywhere, but then you have to pay for everything, and then you have to sell it for certain prices. It's like a tycoon sim, but it's highly addictive. It's got an awesome DLC called The Heat Is On, which kind of revamps everything, and that comes free if you buy it on the Switch. And it's, I don't know, it's a hugely addictive. It's something about the gameplay loop, going over and over and over, drilling and trying to find the oil before you go out of business, that definitely is addictive. And if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it because it's a great game. Are you guys familiar with it at all?
Never even heard of it.
Well, definitely check it out. And if we have any listeners or viewers who have strong games that they love and that they constantly go back to, please sound off in the comments, because we'd love to learn, what people are playing, or tweet at us.
Yeah, please.
Absolutely.
And you can also email us at goodplayingwithyou@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at goodplaywithyou. You can find us on TikTok at GPWY2. And you can find us here on YouTube. Good Play With You.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much all the time we have today. On behalf of the Good Playing With You crew, Matt Lord, Matt Maulding.
My name is
and
Matt
myself,
Maulding.
I almost read the last week's script in saying how Ellen Eric's name, so I'm glad. So Matt Lord, Matt Maulding, and myself, thank you for joining us, and have a great weekend.
Good Play With You.